Warning, there is audio and talking mentions of slavery. I am not the best at recording or speaking. Manufacturers' divided tasks is when you take one big task and split it into three or like four or like five different parts. So like during the 1840s or the 1860s, during slavery and like the cotton industry, they would take one big project, so making cotton clothes up in the north, and they would separate it. They separate it into three different parts in a three-scaled factory. So it could be like getting the cotton, like basically turning it into like actual like stuff you can make clothing out of, and then turning it into clothing. For roads and canals, such as like the Erie Canal, like the Erie Canal and other canals and roads. I do not know all the names of the canals and the roads. Uh, but so the Erie Canal and the roads were like a way of transportation, which usually took like a few weeks or months. And like there's also railroads. I did forget to put railroads on the slide, so I'll probably end up adding that. Probably not, I'm not sure. But like, yeah, railroads were towed by the trains were actually towed by horses, and they weren't real trains. Uh, the rocket named Tum Tub was I believe it was a British rocket, and from 1840 to during 1840 there was 1,000 miles worth of train track. During 1860 there was 3,000 about 3,000 miles of train track, and Morse code, which is the bottom line, is a series of dots and dashes. So right now, what I spelt out for like basically relating to the Civil War is north winds. Okay, so during 1840 and 18 in between 1840 and 1860, people were actually put out of their jobs because of like the cotton gin and like stuff like that, and like more like mechanic things, I guess. I don't know really how to explain it. Uh, so there was like these groups were very unfair to the people, such as like this group I do not remember the name of because I'm not looking at my notebook. But they treated the Germans very poorly, and they were not very nice to them. And during what was it, like 1850 something, 1.5 million Irish immigrants came to America, which honestly that boosted. Well, they came to the north part of America, but that boosted the northern part of America's like industry on people and in the economy. A group that I do not know the name of because I'm using Eve's notebook believed immigration threatened the future, which honestly it did not. And immigrants, the German and the Irish immigrants, actually founded their very own music, which honestly I think that was some music that a lot of people might have liked back then. So the South's economy had like they transformed cotton productions with new inventions such as the cotton gin. And honestly, probably I do not mean this in any form of like racism at all, but I'm going to say using the cotton gin probably made it a lot easier for African American slaves, or like just slaves in general. The economy depended on the slaves, which honestly, if you depend on someone to do your work for you, that's terrible. Unless, like, there is no unless, never mind. That it's just terrible. The cotton gin did replace hard labor. South's economy produced tobacco, which is a type of like thing you smoke. So do not do that, children. Uh, Rice, indigo, and tobacco were some plants that the South actually like. There was like basically like their crops, I guess. I don't know indigo was a food, but okay. The South's people is the next topic I'm talking about. So, South's economy was based on slaves' economy. Why do I keep saying blazed? But honestly, that's really sad. You should never depend on somebody to do something for you. Like, this is horrible. No one should be treated this way. Certain people who were farmers who did not have enslaved workers were Tatans, I think is how you say it. I don't remember the name of these ones, but these people watched over the enslaved domestic workers. No. Certain people took charge of the households, supervised buildings and gardens. Most white Southern farmers actually didn't have slaves or slaves who planted the cotton, which honestly, that's actually pretty amazing that most white farmers in the Southern didn't have that. But yeah, it's still very sad. History is not always very pretty. Thank you for watching.
She's like, oh, I came. He was like, what? She was like, I came.
Eve! Why are you telling me this? I didn't want to know this. You know you can actually talk now, right? Girl. Are you gonna turn your music up?
I like me better when I'm with you.
Oh my god, Eve, you are crazy.